Welcome to my channel. I'm Peachy and thank you for watching this week's Salute to Women's History Month. I hope you enjoy this little stroll through history and learn a little about these amazing women who have molded the times we live in. You may know today's spotlight or you may not. But that being said, let's go. Henrietta Lacks was born in Roanoke, Virginia, August 1st, 1920. She was an American woman whose cervical cancer cells were the source of the HeLa cell line, research on which contributed to numerous important scientific advances. After her mother died in childbirth in 1924, her father moved with his 10 children to Clover, Virginia, where he divided them among relatives to be raised. Henrietta was thus raised by her grandfather, who was also looking after another grandchild. Henrietta's cousin, David, known as Day. Henrietta and Day were married on April 10, 1941. Encouraged by a cousin, Day soon moved north to Maryland to work at Bethlehem Steel's Sparrows Point Steel Mill, which was booming with demand generated by World War II. Soon thereafter, Henrietta and the couple's children joined Day at Turner Station, Maryland, a community outside Baltimore where many of the African American steel workers lived. Before her 5th pregnancy, Henrietta had sensed a knot inside her, and worrisome bleeding and evidence of a lump on her cervix several months after giving birth finally sent Henrietta to her doctor. She was referred to the gynecology department at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, where in February 1951 a biopsy indicated the presence of a cervical tumor that had been undetected by doctors both at the birth of her son on September 19, 1950, and at a follow-up examination 6 weeks later. After further tests, Henrietta received the first of several radium treatments, the standard of care for the day, which involved stitching small glass tubes of the radioactive metal secured in fabric pouches called Brock plaques to the cervix. While performing the procedure, the surgeon extracted 2 small tissue samples, one from Henrietta's tumor and one from healthy cervical tissue close by. The samples from Henrietta's cervix were among many extracted for the physician George Gay, the head of tissue culture research at Johns Hopkins, who was searching for an immortal cell line for use in cancer research. Unlike previous samples, Henrietta's cancerous cells, called HeLa, from Henrietta, which starts with H-E, and Lacks, which starts with L-A, not only survived, but also multiplied at an extraordinary rate. Henrietta herself was unaware that any samples had been taken. At that time, it was not uncommon to study patients and their tissues without their knowledge or consent. While her cells thrived, Henrietta declined. By September, the cancer had spread throughout her body, and early the following month, Henrietta died. However, the HeLa cells, famed for their longevity, continued to thrive in culture long after Henrietta's death. HeLa became ubiquitous study material, contributing to the development of drugs for numerous ailments, including polio, Parkinson's disease, and leukemia. In spite of this, until the 1970s, Henrietta's role was unknown even to her family. In the 21st century, Henrietta's case was an important component in the debate surrounding informed consent from patients for the extraction and use of cells in research. In 2013, the National Institute of Health granted the Lacks family control over how data on the HeLa cell genome would be used. The genome of a HeLa cell line has been sequenced in full earlier that year. 2 members of the Lacks family formed part of the NIH's HeLa Genome Data Access Working Group, which reviewed researchers' applications for access to the HeLa sequence information. In 2010, Rebecca Skloot published The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, a compelling look at Henrietta Lacks' story, her impact on medical science, and important bioethical issues. That book became the basis of the HBO and Harpo film by the same name, which was released in April 2017. The publication of Skloot's book led Johns Hopkins to review their interactions with Henrietta Lacks and with the Lacks family over more than 50 years. At several points across those decades, they found that Johns Hopkins could have and should have done more to inform and work with members of the Lacks family out of respect for them, their privacy, and their personal interests. Henrietta Lacks had been lying in an unmarked grave since her death in 1951. Finally, in 2010, and thanks to Dr. Roland Patillo at Morehouse School of Medicine, who donated a headstone after reading The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, her grave is finally marked. Pretty interesting, right? There are some others you can check out here on the channel. Those boxes should pop up for you shortly. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and I hope I see you on the next installment. If you are so inclined, please make sure to like and subscribe so you can see when I post new content. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, whichever time you're watching this, and catch you on the next episode. Be safe out there. Bye for now.